What is up, Yankee fans? I'm Ryan Garcia, and this is Fireside Yankees, and I'm a little bit late. I was supposed to go live at 7, and I deeply apologize. I had some pretty important things to handle with the Fireside Yankees channel, so we'll get right into everything, where if you're here on the YouTube, we really appreciate your support. If you're on the Twitter, again, we really appreciate your support. If you're watching on Twitter, retweet, all that stuff. That'd be really sick. And if you're on YouTube, share with a friend, like, subscribe, put it on your big TV. I don't really care how you watch this. Any support you give is greatly appreciated. Furthermore, would like to add in regard to all of this, we're going to be streaming tonight, tomorrow night. I'm going to try and see if I can stream Wednesday. I have a game to broadcast, but that might be either a later stream or no stream day. I'll give you the answer officially on Tuesday. And then we're streaming Thursday. We're streaming a lot because I'm not going to be able to stream on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's why I'm doing my winter meetings preview now and not tomorrow or not on Sunday, because I won't be able to do it. So I'm doing my winter meetings preview now. And I'm doing it now. We're going to kind of get into a bunch of different notes, a bunch of different articles that came out over the last 24 hours regarding the Yankees. I'm just going to tweet out the link right now on the Twitter for the YouTube. But yeah, really, again, if you're here, let's get a Let's Go Yankees going here. If you're in the YouTube chat or the Twitter chat, let's get a Let's Go Yankees going right now as I type out this tweet on FSY. Let's just fire. Let's get the Yankees. Let's Go Yankees going here. Sorry, really, again, apologize. Just got to type this out. And let's get started, folks. I'm itching and raring to go. Let's freaking do this. New York Yankees winter meetings preview. Let's get started. I'm going to kind of look through the chat real quick here just to shout out people. Trick Pickle, what's up, my man? Xavier Anderson, how's it going, my man? We got Felix here saying, what's up? Hope you're doing well, Felix. Rye God, what's up, my guy? Baby Goat, how we doing, my man? How we doing? Hope you're doing well. We're finally back. Yes, we are. We got Damascus Roberts. We've got Felix again. We've got Pill. We've got John. We've got I don't know if I can say this first word here. I know it's like an insulting word in Spanish, I think, but I'm just gonna say publicidad. There we go. Anthony's here. Brendan, Carl, Joe, Jonathan, Mason, Boog, Isaac, sorry. I'm saying like Isaac Paredes. Let's do it. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about, Tatsuya Imai, because let's kind of get with this Isaac question. That's why I wanted to leave this one for last year. I know it's also the most recent one, but it's the one I really wanted to talk about. So the New York Yankees and Tatsuya Imai. I am under the impression that if the Yankees don't end up with Tatsuya Imai, I don't think they're going to pivot for Michael King. I believe Tatsuya Imai is their top target on the free agent board for the rotation, and that if they don't get him, it's not going to be in a scenario where they pivot off of him and they go to somebody else. I believe that's going to be a situation where it's Tatsuya Imai or bust for the Yankees in the starting pitching, like the top of the starting pitching market. Again, that's kind of how I view that. And what I'm hearing and my understanding of that situation, Tatsuya Imai is very high on the Yankee board. They really do want him. They believe that he can be an effective frontline starting pitcher for them, someone who helps them in 2026, helps them get back into the international market, all of that and more. Again, like this is something where the Yankees are going to be a team that gets right there and is able to provide just tons, and I mean tons and tons and tons of value for this rotation. And yes, I believe these reports because let's talk about it. Let's get into this. The Athletic, NBC, both of them dropped that. You had a different report from a different outlet. I'm forgetting where. From ESPN, Buster Only. So ESPN, The Athletic, and NBC Sports, which is provides local Giants coverage. That is 3 for 3. Local Giants coverage, local San Francisco Giant coverage, national coverage in ESPN, and then team reporter at The Athletic, but a very well-accredited sports outlet. So we're talking about the big boys. The big boys are sitting here and saying, hey, Giants are not going to have the money. They don't got the Brinks trucks like the Yankees do. They ain't coming out with the 9 figures. They don't have Yankees money. Look, when we talk about Tatsuya Imai, right? And he said he wants to beat the Dodgers. And I hate to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, fellas. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, right? Not trying to be disrespectful. The New York Yankees have more firepower on their roster. They've got more spending power. Traditionally speaking, they've always spent more than the Giants. They've got a better roster and a better chance to win a World Series championship. When Tatsuya Imai said he wanted to beat the Dodgers, it was not him saying, I want to go play for a team that's going to play the Dodgers all the time. It was him saying, I want to win a World Series championship. That if I were to play the Dodgers, I'm going to beat the Dodgers. That's where he wants to go. Why have shrimp with a wimp? You could have a lobster with a monster, folks. Shrimp with the wimps in San Francisco, or lobsters with the monsters in the Bronx. That is where you're at if you're Tatsuya Imai. So I think Imai to the Yankees is something that's increased in probability over the last 48 hours, just based on kind of the lack of suitors in that category who can out-muscle the Yankees financially. Jonathan, thank you for the super chat, Jonathan. Really appreciate it, man. He asked, how much do you think Hal will allow Cashman to go via payroll? So me personally, I think that this is going to depend on Tatsuya Imai. If Imai is off the board, if they do not end up with Tatsuya Imai, I don't think they're going to take that money and then put it towards the starting pitcher. I think what we'll see happen instead is something more so of the nature of get Bellinger and then kind of go from there. Again, I don't view this as a situation where the Yankees are trying to pass off their financial. They're not trying to spend Imai money on just anybody. I think Imai is a different kind of pitcher because he brings an international appeal to that market. So it's a little bit different. I don't think it's exactly the kind of thing you can compare. I don't think you're going to see the Yankees in a situation where we see I don't think it's a situation where they're going to take the Imai money and give it to King or give it to Valdez. If they don't have the Imai money, if they don't give Imai the money, if Imai doesn't take their money, they're not going to take it and give it to some other pitcher. They're going to take it and they're going to just pocket it most likely, and then try and get a left fielder. Maybe they add to the rotation and try and add to the bullpen and all that. But I don't believe it'll be a situation where they take it and then put it into another starting pitcher. They're either going to pocket it or put it towards left field, or I think they're going to get a left fielder regardless of Imai. I think Imai doesn't affect that. But yeah, so sorry, very convoluted answer. I think if Imai is a Yankee, 330. I think it's possible they get to 330 or even 340. If it's not Imai, I think it's closer to 310. That's kind of where I'm at there. It's Yankees versus Phillies for Imai. Phillies will need a Ranger Suarez hole, but they can replace that with Ranger Suarez. Yeah, so the issue with the Phillies and Tatsuya Imai, it's not that the Phillies aren't interested. It's not the Phillies can't do it. It's more so that I don't believe the Phillies are going to give out a big starting pitching contract to Imai unless like these meetings with them go well. They're not a 0% chance team. They're not a 0% chance team. And given, let's talk about the quote again. Beating the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Phillies are a team that can beat the Los Angeles Dodgers with Imai. So I think from a fit standpoint, I don't want to discount the Phillies here because on paper, it makes sense. So me personally, if I'm a Phillies fan, I think that if the Phillies want Imai, I think they can handle it. They can go out and try and get him. So I think the Yankees have a better chance, but we'll see. Let's keep rolling here. Do you think the Royals would consider trading Maikel Garcia this offseason? My answer, no, not a chance. He's their second best player right now, at least in the position player side. I feel like Imai wouldn't have went there anyway because he wants to be on a playoff team. I agree. I don't think the Giants fit made a lot of sense beyond West Coast, and they have money. But I think Imai's going to go to the top bidder. I don't think he was going to take less money to be a Yankee, if that's kind of what we're getting at here. Anything other than Tucker is a disgrace. Account with the Bellinger stuff. Let's talk about Bellinger for a bit because we've got kind of a bit of comments here. Boris propaganda has been nasty this offseason. Don't understand why Bellinger's the priority for them over Bellinger or over Tucker. Let's settle into this. So I think that Cody Bellinger is a more likely player for the Yankees to acquire because he's going to cost less than Kyle Tucker. And whether that's something that you are for or not for. And I get that that's kind of, how do I put this? It's something that's frustrating. It's frustrating, but it hasn't happened yet. So I kind of have to wait things out. Do I think some of the New York Post reporting, and specifically from John Heyman, do I think that some of it might be getting it straight from the Boras camp? Sure. I do think the Yankees have interest. I don't think the New York Post is making anything up or anything of that effect. I think they are taking information. Remember, their job is to relay information from their sources. They can't make up sources. So I do believe that they're getting a lot of it from Boras's camp, and that those conversations are going to naturally lean more towards, hey, the Yankees are going to be a team that the Yankees are in and other teams are in, and that's a way to generate leverage and do that. I'm sure the Yankees have media members they talk to try and get leverage out of. I don't think it would be stunning to me if that Sandy Alcantara thing was Brian Cashman talking to a former coworker and Jim Bowden saying, hey, we're in on Sandy. You want to go run that? You can run that. That's an accurate statement. I think the media game is something both sides play. I don't think it's anything nefarious from the media source or whatever. I just think it's kind of the perspective of the Boras camp. They believe that the Yankees are really in, and they believe the Yankees are going to face some stiff competition. Whether that ends up being true or not, I guess we won't know until the players sign. So that's kind of where I'm at there. So let's talk a little bit more about, like, with the Bellinger situation. What's like a comfortable contract term situation? Some people say you don't want to give more than 5. Other people say, hey, I wouldn't even want to give more than 4. 6 is a no-go for me. Some people would be willing to go for 6, but let's break this one down here. I don't know what the market believes. I suspect the market isn't as high on Bellinger as it's been reported by John Heyman, let's say. Like, I don't think it's a strong Bellinger market because I don't think there are obvious fits for Bellinger out there. Maybe the Mets are a team that get more involved in Bellinger, but I don't believe we see the New York Yankees face a team that's going to go out there and provide a 6-year deal at $170 million. Right? I don't think that's what we're going to see, if that makes sense. But I do think we could see a team say, hey, here's 5 years, 125, and the Yankees are going to have to beat that mark if they want to keep the player. Now, if Kyle Tucker signs a deal where his annual average salary is between $7 to $10 million, and in that range, with him and Bellinger, you should sign Kyle Tucker, because Kyle Tucker is worth $7 to $10 million more than Cody Bellinger. Now, if Kyle Tucker signs and he is going to cost you $15 million more than Cody Bellinger, I understand feeling differently, because $50 million is, or let's say $60 million is more of a situation where, you're it would be a little bit, it's kind of like one of those things where that's a 2-war player. That's a 2-war gap. Maybe the Yankees aren't under the impression that Bellinger is 2 wins worse than Tucker. I think Tucker's the safer player. He's the better player. He makes you so much better if you end up bringing him in. And man, that lineup would be disgusting. It'd be devastating. So I do think that when we look at the Yankees and we look at Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger's a risk. There's a big risk with Bellinger, how he's going to age, whether this was his peak year in that 5-war year, or whether it was a, hey, he's a 4-war player year in, year out, or is he not? We'll see. That's kind of where we're at. I think he's a very, very, very curious case of how much do you buy in on the profile? How much do you buy in on the changes? How much do you buy in that he did change? So yeah, we'll see. We will see with that. Now let's talk a little bit here. So, this is a good question. Yamamoto didn't go to the highest bidder. So what's your point? He wasn't represented by Scott Boras, and we can say the Phillies had a higher bid, but do we really know that? I think they offered similar to the Dodgers, and it was over 14 years, I think. So more money over 14 years, maybe not really that worth it, especially when we consider lower AAV. You want to get AAV. AAV is important, and also not a Boras client. Imai is a Boras client. So I do believe that money is going to matter here. I simply don't, I don't think the New York Yankees are going to be getting him on a discount. I don't think a team is going to get him on a discount, or at least a significant discount. Maybe the Yankees are going to be able to sign him for like $5 million less than a team like the Orioles, because the Orioles aren't contenders. Maybe, but do I buy that? Right? If the Yankees were $5 million short of a bid, I'd assume they didn't get the player. That's kind of how I treat a Boras client. So yeah. Let's kind of see what else we've got here. Don't underestimate the lockout next year. Teams are going to be hesitant to add beyond 2026. Well, here's the thing. You don't have to pay the player if there's a lockout. So you do not pay the player. So, yeah, that's part of it. And players are going to play. I think we're going to get a 2027 season. And speaking to people, like, it's always a tough thing to bank on, because owners don't want to go a whole year without baseball. Neither do players. It's just a negotiating tactic. I think we're going to see that be the case. Now, let's keep talking here. Let's see. The problem that I have is that the Mets can outbid the Yankees. I'm assuming that's for Bellinger, 6 to 7 years, and that's too much. I assume that's not an Imai thing, because Imai's going to get 6 or 7 years at minimum. He might get 8 years, depending on how aggressive teams are in that bidding war. So in the case of Bellinger, look, they could, in theory. I mean, he makes sense for their left field, center field needs, but I also believe that with the Yankees and the Mets and kind of where we're looking at their rosters here, why would the New York Mets be a team that's suddenly willing to pay a significant financial commitment to a top-of-the-market outfielder after trading an outfielder who had a similar profile to Bellinger and ended up being a bad contract 3 years into the deal? They ended up being underwater on that contract within 3 years. So I'm not exactly sure that we're going to see the New York the New York Mets give out what they would perceive as a bad contract. And remember, the ballpark for Citi Field. Citi Field is not a good fit for Bellinger's swing. Citi Field would not help him a lot. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Mets. Like, you kind of have to project him to be worse offensively because he's not a Yankee and at Yankee Stadium. And then that's got to be baked into what are the Mets willing to pay him and what do they value him at long term. What stock do you put into the fact that the Yankees platooned both McMahon and Rice in the playoffs? I think that it was a matter of the roster. Paul Goldschmidt was like one of the best hitters against left-handed pitching in baseball for a decade. If you look at his numbers against lefties, let's look since 2015, from 2015 to 2025, and we're going to put against left-handed pitching. And we're going to put like minimum 200 plate appearances to kind of like really open up this sample size here. Paul Goldschmidt was the second best hitter in baseball, minimum 200 plate appearances, behind only Aaron Judge against left-handed pitching. So he was really good this past year against lefties, but he has been a lefty killer. I think that's an outlier situation where Goldschmidt was a insanely good hitter against lefties, and that insanely good hitter against lefties is probably no longer on the roster next year. So yeah, McMahon, though, definitely think that if the Yankees were offered prospects and and the other team took the whole contract of McMahon, they're taking that deal. I think they're taking that deal. The Yankees are opportunistic. If a team gave them good value on McMahon, they're not going, no, we need a third baseman. They'll go, we'll make it work. We'll go trade for somebody to be our third baseman then, I guess. So, yeah. They're not signing both Bellinger and Imai. Paying the player during the lockout isn't the issue. It's the ramifications of a new CBA. It's a cap or more likely higher penalties. Dylan, I don't think that... Look, my understanding is that they really want Imai. Is that they really want to go after Imai. And because they also know that they're in on Bellinger and they haven't closed the door on Tucker, it'd be kind of hard for me to think that they wouldn't go after Bellinger at all if they signed Imai. I think that they're going to be willing to go get both players. So we'll see. We will see. I could be wrong. No, Tucker's great. Tucker's a great player. I think Imai's a good player, but Tucker's a great player. He is a top 10 hitter in baseball, top 10 position player in baseball over the last 5 years. This guy is worth the money. Now he's not going to get a $400 million contract probably, but he's 29 and probably going to get a $300 million contract. And I think he'll deserve it. So, Bellinger, I do think the price tag, and I'm going to take off my glasses just because I'm really close to my camera. I don't need them to see. The issue with Bellinger is, I think he's a good player trying to be paid like a great player. He's a Scott Boras guy. So Scott Boras, that's kind of what he does, right? That's kind of what Scott Boras does. I don't necessarily believe that the New York Yankees are going to be making a stupid offer to bring back Bellinger. And I don't think teams are going to make a stupid offer to bring in Bellinger. Kind of hope Ellie goes to the Mets. If it's because you think you want Tucker, look, if the Yankees lose out on Bellinger, not sure that means like, I think you'd have to look at it like the Yankees signed Tucker and then Bellinger's just kind of without a home. If you don't have a Tucker and Bellinger's signed somewhere else, I don't think you're getting Tucker, man. I don't think you're getting Tucker. I don't think you're getting Tucker. So, yeah, man. I hate to be that guy. Hate to be the pessimist here, but yo, if they don't get Bellinger and Tucker's out, like if it's a situation where the Yankees were earnestly trying for Bellinger and they got freaking outbid, and then Tucker's out there, they're not going to go, oh shit, I guess we better go pay $300 million to Tucker. They're going to go like, oh shit, we might not have a left fielder next year. Like that's kind of where we'd be looking at. I don't think the Yankees are going to go, oh yeah, Tucker's a backup plan. No, I don't buy that shit. If Tucker's part of their plan, he is a primary plan. He is not a backup plan. You do not take the number 2 outfielder, and if you don't sign him, you go after the number 1 outfielder. No way, Jose. You go after the number 1 outfielder. You want the number 1 outfielder, and then you settle for the number 2 outfielder. They want a number 2 outfielder, and they miss on him. They're looking at 3. They got 3. That's Grisham. That is like I'm just putting that out there. I'm just putting that out there. Yeah, exactly. Like, let me kind of give an example because I'm a guy who like I don't got enough money to be like shopping for expensive cars and whatever. When I go buy headphones, for example, and I'm like, I don't want to pay $200 for headphones. I'm not gonna go. All right, let me go buy these $300 headphones. I'm gonna go what's below $200. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. That's why like. Y'all got to be careful. I think a lot of people are a little bit too like lenient with this Bellinger thing. I want Tucker Bellinger, but some of y'all are like, yo, he can walk for all I care. It's like, like gotta see if they're in on Tucker before I wouldn't be like, Bellinger can go kick rocks. Another question from Jonathan. Thank you for another super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Do you think they will do a signing bonus to reduce the AAV for Bellinger, Tucker, or Imai? How much of the Yankees ever done via signing bonus? So I think that you could see a signing bonus for Bellinger or Imai to kind of lower the annual average salary. Now, I do want to point out here with the Yankees, Imai, I think they can lower the AAV by just giving him a 7th year or maybe in an 8th year. He's a young pitcher. You can stretch out the contract to lower the AAV. For Tucker and Bellinger, I think it'd be harder to do that. We'll kind of see what they're into and what they're interested in. We'll kind of see. We'll kind of see. I don't know if the Yankees are going to be a team where like they're aggressive with like creating weird contracts to just lower the AAV. I think they offer maybe another year for Imai, maybe for Bellinger, like it's some deferred money, maybe, but like I think it'd be mostly like, hey, let's go. We're just going to give you a traditional contract. And this is a good point. I think Soto, Sabathia, those offers, yes, they had signing bonuses, but different kinds of players. Maybe Tucker would get a bonus, but like is Bellinger the kind of player where you're like doing some crazy shit to like circumvent the luxury tax? That's kind of like a weird situation. Yeah, I think that's the situation. I don't really think that the market for Bellinger is crazy. And I know people say that. Like, oh, well, the Yankees are going to face so much competition. From who? Bro, from who? Like, who's going to look at Cody Bellinger and go, man, this guy is worse in my ballpark. So we're going to find a way to pay him $160, $170 million. Like, what? No, what? No. Let's see. For the money they were willing to give for Soto last year, they could play Bellinger, Tucker, and Imai. Why not get all of them? Because you paid Fried, so that's part of that money. And yeah, so you can't pay all 3 of them. You paid Fried. That was part of the money you committed. And that's part of that conversation. So yeah. That is a chunk of it. It's about $26 million of that. So if Soto was making 50, if you wanted to cover that up for a year-to-year basis, yeah, you'd have to like sign one of Bellinger or Imai. Tucker would automatically push you over that mark. Let's got to keep rolling here. It seems like the main market for the Bellinger and Tucker is the Yankees, Mets, and Blue Jays and Dodgers. I might be wrong though. Yeah, I mean, so Andy Martino kind of ruled out Mets on Tucker. Blue Jays and Tucker is weird because if they get Bichette, then Tucker kind of feels like an afterthought. Dodgers, same thing with Tucker. Outfield market's like a wait and see. It's a crazy wait and see situation here. And I personally, again, like I think the Yankees are going to be opportunistic. We'll see. I don't know if Bellinger's, I'm not like trying to do this stream of like, yeah, they're out on Tucker. They're definitely getting Bellinger. Yeah, they're definitely not getting Bellinger. They're definitely in on Tucker. Like I don't know. Dog, I don't know. I don't know. The Yankees have been very weird with this outfield shit. I don't know. I do know they want him on. That's what I know. That's what I know. I think Bellinger and Tucker, it's very weird. I expect them to be opportunistic, So yeah. Do you think Bellinger's going to wait on Tucker to sign? Jeff Passan said Bellinger could be one of the bigger earlier signings. So I don't think it's a 100%, but like if I was Bellinger, I'd wait for Tucker to sign. So yeah. Yeah. Not much competition for Tucker. It would make sense for them to take advantage of that. Yeah, fair point. I think he could be a top 10 starter with a solid changeup. The stuff is ridiculous. Es muy buenísimo. It's muy bueno. Muy bueno. Es buenísimo. Very good. Very good stuff. Elite level stuff. Top 10 stuff plus among starters with at least 70 innings pitched. That guy's an absolute stud. Guy's an absolute stud. Just a matter of fact, guy's an absolute stud. Is Imai expected to sign at the end of the winter meetings? It's a possibility. It's not something that I believe is a must or like a guarantee. He has until the 2nd of January to sign. But I imagine the winter meetings would be a good window for that. Hal turn into George, get all three, put Bellinger at first. No. Look, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Even even George wouldn't do that. George is not doing that. He's not doing that. George ain't doing that. Come on. He ain't doing that. So yeah, he ain't doing that. No fucking shot. Sorry for my language. No shot. Even George would do that because you have Ben Rice. So, Jonathan, I think it's a really interesting conversation where like, could you do the Bellinger Tucker thing? And yeah, it's a pipe dream, but I just don't think it would happen. I don't even think George would do that just because you have Rice at first. Defense matters. Those kind of things like Wells not being the catcher and Rice being the catcher is a pretty big hit to your defense. And if you sign Bellinger to be a first baseman, that would kind of suck, no? Like, that would kind of suck. I would kind of hate that. I would hate Bellinger being the first baseman. That'd really kill his defensive value. That'd really stink, man. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. And we're all allowed to have opinions. What are these guys' markets? I feel like nobody's in on either Bellinger and Tucker. And, dude, that's kind of the thing that's throwing me off here, man. I don't know who's in, man. I don't know who's in, dude. I don't know who's in. I like Bellinger, Mets makes sense, but how in are they? They need to try and figure out Alonso and Diaz. They need to figure out the rotation. Like, Jesus, man, I don't know. I don't. And then we look at let's say someone like a Tucker. Who the hell's going after Tucker? The Dodgers aren't really that in. Blue Jays kind of need, they're going to probably go after Bichette and land him and then go from there. And then, dude, like, who else? Giants? No. Mets? No. Who, dude? King. That's where the market's just stinky, man. It's stinky for those two. I think that's perception. I think. Let's kind of keep looking here. This is funny. Is that a Bellinger Ellsbury? I do remember when we did the Jacoby Bellinsbury. Jacody Bellinsbury. It was Jacody Bellinsbury. That was the nickname during the offseason where the Yankees traded for Soto. Because I was very much like, if they sign Cody Bellinger and don't trade for Juan Soto, I will kill. Like, I will like, I don't know. I'll be so mad. I have to stop myself from saying I would do something of harm to myself because that would get me demonetized. And we don't want that. I would be very upset is kind of what I would have been. Yeah. This close. I got this close to get this whole stream demonetized. Anywho. Yeah, I was going to be a not happy individual. So, yeah. Hey, I mean, Morosi could be right. He could be wrong. I don't freaking know, dude. I don't know. JJ McCarthy, 9 stinks, dude. 9 is terrible. 9 is awful. 9 is so bad. And the fact that he was going to be bad the second he called himself 9. Second it happened. What will be your dream offseason? Tucker, Imai, and a reliever. Tucker, Imai, trade for Garrett Clevenger, and add any bench bat who can hit from the right hand. Bring back a Rosario. Screw it. Bring back Dio. I want my Dio back. Let's see. Tucker and Bichette would be sick. Yeah, it'd be tough, but I don't know if Bichette's a shortstop, guys. Yeah, look, I mean, George has had some misses. That's why I keep saying that. Media keeps pushing Houston for Bellinger. Is that a thing? they don't have the motion like we do. They don't got our motion. They don't have the Yankee motion. Look, I say this with all due respect. They don't got our motion. They don't have our motion. Boris is not effing with their motion. Trade for Donovan. I don't think he can play shortstop. I know some people have talked about that. I don't think he can do it. His speed is really bad, but I do think he's a really good third baseman and would be sick if he was a third baseman. Unfortunately, not looking like we will be seeing him play third base with the New York Yankees because why? Right? Like, why would they trade for an infielder? They already have infielders, right? That's kind of where we're at there. Kyle Keller, reliever. I did see he had really good numbers. I don't know. Are they going to do that? Yo no sé. No comprehende. Not no comprehende. No, I don't know. No entiendo would be I don't understand, but I don't know is the answer, fellas. It's possible they do. It's possible they don't. There's both. What about Okamoto? Probably too pricey. Probably wouldn't want to be a platoon guy. Like, why would you want to be a platoon guy? Go be a starter in the big league somewhere, buddy. That guy's a starting caliber infielder, which, like, that's me personally. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to start. I'm not going to play L bench for Los Yankees. I'm being a starter somewhere where I'll have my services appreciated. Not saying the Yankees don't appreciate his services, but they can't guarantee him playing time. They just can't. They can't make him the starting first baseman, the starting third baseman. So that matters. That matters. Oh yeah, this is feed me this, bro. Feed me this. I'm running through a cliff for this, bro. Feed me this outcome. Give me this outcome. Give me this outcome. I need it. Yo, I don't know, man. But if they do that and the Yankees don't sign him, right? Like if they don't do that and the Yankees don't sign him, why? Why even try? What the like? Why? Why would I even like watch base? No, I'm joking. I wouldn't go that far, but like that would really make me upset. That would make me so upset. I'd be so freaking mad. And I get mad about things, but like I try and get over them. I'd be so mad. Let's see. Yankees pull off a massive move in the winter meetings. I think the Yankees get Tatsuya Imai. Boom. That's my take. The logic behind Bichette having him play shortstop for the year and then sliding him to second base once Jazz is free agency. But even then, Jazz is a significantly better player to pay. Thank you, Superman Trent Grisham. And yeah, I agree. I agree. I think Jazz is better than Bo as a second baseman. Better athlete, better runner, better glove. Not a better hitter, but better athlete, better defender, better glove. And that's going to make up for the bat. Hey, I know I'm a Tucker over Bellinger guy, and people are going to say, well, you think that Tucker's better than Bellinger. He's just a better hitter. Different. Bellinger's a worse base runner and a worse hitter, and the gap in offense is pretty significant. The gap in defense is significant as well, but Bichette is slow as dirt, and he's 27, and that offensive profile is a little bit scary. Not a big fan of Mr. Bichette on like a big contract, which, that's just my take on it. And, people can feel differently. Everyone's allowed their own opinions. I would love for the Yankees to sign him, for me to be wrong, for him to be an incredible Yankee, and, all of that stuff. I love when I'm wrong and it helps the Yankees. That would be great. That'd be phenomenal. Yeah, I would be a very happy young man. But and by the way, I just want to say this. The this is a report from Sportsnet. The Jesus Christ, the Blue Jays. God, the Blue Jays are not re-signing Bo Bichette and adding Kyle Tucker. They will sign one of them. They're engaged on both fronts, according to Sportsnet. Let's see. So yeah, we'll see. There's some skepticism about Ketel Marte. So again, I think that the Blue Jays are not out. I don't think they're out on Kyle Tucker, but I mean, it has not been a loud, they really want Kyle Tucker situation. I do believe that if they want to get, they also said they don't expect that payroll to jump to Dodgers Mets level, which is interesting. I think that they're going to just be at our level in that regard. So, yeah, you can't let the Blue Jays get Tucker. Yeah, if they get Tucker, we're kind of fucked, right? We're kind of screwed. Un ching screwed. Un poquito screwed. Dude, I gotta say though, like, all love to Tucker. I mean, to Bellinger. You know, I support a man's ability to do whatever he wants to do in that regard. You know, I support a man's ability to. I support a man's desire and ability to do that. You know, I support a man's ability to do that, and a woman's. I mean, anyone, any people's. Tucker's market shaping up like Harper in 2019, and Harper signed one of the best contracts ever signed that extended beyond 10 years. So I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Okay, let me like lock in here. I'm like dialed the hell out right now. Let me sip some water. Woo! Let's do this. Let's finish this strong. What do you mean IKF rumors? No, stop this. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. That's not funny. That's not funny. Okay, look, the Jorge Polanco sign with the Yankees thing was funny. That is not funny. This is not funny. This is not funny. This is not funny. Bianca, stop. This is not funny. It's not funny. Don't do this to me. Where was this said? Where was this said? I don't like this. A mí no me gusta. Like, I feel like I'm going to start sweating. I'm going to start sweating, man. I'm going to start sweating. Don't stop that. It's not funny. I don't see anything. I don't believe in this. Anywho, Big Imai. No, I'm not going to be okay. Not going to be okay. I'm not going to be okay. I'm never okay. Big Imai. Big Imai. Big Imai. Let's talk about Big Imai for a second here. Big Imai. Let me say something about this guy. Low arm angle fastball. Disgusting. Disgusting. Low arm angle. It's disgusting. It's a disgusting fastball. It's a gross release point. That's going to make that pitch play at the top of the zone. Slider. There's not a slider like that in the big leagues. When you account for shape, release point, arm angle, nothing like it. Not a single slider like it in the big leagues. So there's nothing like that slider in Major League Baseball. I'm in, right? And he's got a splitter. So go pay him Go give him like not a stupid amount of money, but like give him some money. Give him some money. Go throw some cash at him. Let's go do a job. I know somebody asked me about the 2027 IFA class. Yeah, we're losing a lot of commitments. That's not good. No ways bueno, but hopefully it's a small step forward, small step back for a big step forward because I do think adding changing the scouting director will help them. I'm sure King Jalen Brunson is in on Imai too. Jalen Brunson is like the greatest thing that's ever happened to the Knicks in like my life. Yeah. I trade well, sign JT Realmuto. No. Downgrading at catcher. I'm not doing that. Sorry, man. No. Not doing that for JT Realmuto. Not for him. Now, you know, different catcher becomes available. It's a top 5 guy. Okay, let's have a conversation. Not for JT Realmuto. That glove is dissipated recently. Yeah, dude. 4. I think they win 4. Does he might throw a fork ball? He throws a splitter, but it's kind of like it's like this grip. I don't think it's a fork. Is this a fork ball grip or a splitter grip? Let me hold on. Un segundo. Tatsuya Imai. My beautiful. Watching this, my beautiful viewers. There we go. All right, let's. I'm gonna fuck. I can't download this video, guys. There we go. Hold on. I have to mute this because I don't know if the music is copyrighted or not. Share screen. We're gonna take a look at this pitch shape here. No, not that one. That's the fastball. I'm trying to. He throws a fork ball here. There we go. Hold on. Or a splitter here. Okay, look at this. Hold on. I can't. Let's get this little guy out the way, huh? Yeah. Let's get this. I'll put this back up. All right. Peep game, guys. Peep game. So let's look at the splitter. mean, that's just disgusting. And like, you got to think it's a low and wide release point. So you're seeing this off rip because it's such a wide point. If he keeps if he finds a way to like really hammer down the location of, because like this is an ugly swing here, but I think if he can hammer that, like, hold on, let's go back to the film. We're doing some film breakdown here, fellas. And we might do a film breakdown tomorrow. If you see how the catcher's, he's going to end up throwing down and away. I think that fader away is fine, but for major league hitters, can we get a spot down here? Like if can we be here? Because we're going to see, look at how wide the release point is. Hold on. We're going to get the close up, or excuse me, not the close up. Look at how wide the arm is, right? I know he's a shorter guy, but that is a wide release. Look at where he stands on the mound. He stands on the far side of the mound. If you look here, so he's not trying. I think he knows his natural miss bias is going to be here because everything backs up on him. So he's trained to be here. If we can throw that so it's a front hip almost, you're going to see it start inside, really a wide release. It's going to start inside and it's going to leak over, swing. And if you start middle, and this is a good splitter because it starts middle and goes away, but I also wonder if he can play with like front hip the splitter, like a sinker almost. But this is a really good location in the sense that, like, dude, you start middle, he's thinking swing the whole way. And that's the big benefit to like a wide release point. When you start middle, man, like, oh, you're able to get tons of break. He's in swing mode the second the ball's out of the hand. And then he just chases. Starts middle, in zone, not a strike. Not even close to a strike. You're an idiot. You just swung a pitch at the zone. Now the slider, again, wide release point. So you got to have that mentality in your head. Wide release point. Kind of create that cue in your head. Think of the lane that pitch is starting in. It's starting middle, that slider most likely. And or wherever lane it starts at, it's going to end up staying on that plane. So he's seeing this this is a pitch that he can hit in his mind. Except it dips, it keeps going, it keeps dropping. It's a bullet. Because he's thinking, hey, this pitch is going to end up here, kind of inside part of the plate. I'm a lefty. I'm just going to get my barrel to it quick, get out in front, and then line it into right field. Instead, it doesn't stay on plane. It drops, bang. And it tunnels really well at the fastball because it doesn't have a lot of lateral movement. Let's look at the slider here. Look at that perfect football spin. It's gorgeous. Tatsuya Imai would be a great quarterback. Look at this. Look at how you could not draw this up. Look at that grip. Hold on. We got the horseshoe. Sorry. Trying to get this queued up here. This grip, dude, it is a perfect spin. It is a perfect spin here. Perfect spin. Hold on. We got a super chat. Jordan says, love your content, Ryan. No question. Just enjoy learning baseball from you. Patiently waiting for Fireside Islanders to drop. Jordan, I really appreciate that, man. I don't know enough puck for that. I really don't know enough puck to do Fireside Islanders, but we'll get to that. I would love to make fun of the Rangers, though. Appreciate that, Thunder Darkness. You're the man. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for the super chats. I really appreciate it. But yeah, getting back to Imai here real quick. I mean, dude, that slider is a perfect spin, and it doesn't even end up on the floor. It ends up, it's a little bit below the knees. It's not a strike per se. I mean, you could argue this is a strike, but it just keeps going. He thinks it's going to end up here. This pitch out of release, because he's a short guy. Out of release, the entire time it looks like a strike until the very end. I hope we get the fastball. Hold on. I want to get the fastball again here. Let's go back to the beginning. Look at that. You're not going to hit that pitch, man. This four-seamer, it's not perfect backspin, but it's very efficient spin considering how low he releases the ball. And it's just not dropping. It's a low release height. It's not dropping. If he hits that spot time and time again, and we're talking out of zone up, top of the catcher's mask, that's where Imai in his interview mentioned he wants to aim. If he can aim top of the catcher's mask, just again, bang. Doesn't drop. Bang. Again, stays on plane. Bang. Every single time. This is a swing and miss pitch. And at 95, that's a swing and miss pitch, folks. That is a Joe Ryan fastball, folks. Now let's look at another heater here. Hold on. After we look at this one, we're going to look at the other heater. Same spot, bang. A little more center cut, but still, bang. They're under it. Let's get back to some. Look at the slider here. Because it has that spin that goes into righties. He's thinking, oh, this is going away. Nope. Doesn't go away. Sorry. I know all the sliders you see go away. Not mine. Bang. Stole the strike. Easy. Then look at, bang. I think that's a splitter. That's that location we were talking about earlier where it's more kind of like, and this could be the slider. I might, hold on. This might be the Vulcan change. Point is, it's that off-speed pitch, and it's down. When we throw that pitch down, even if it's into lefties, it's swing, and then it's not a hittable pitch. Sorry, I love Tatsuya Imai. I think he's such a perfect fit for this rotation, guys. Bang. Breaker. Just tight slider, back foot, gorgeous. God. Look at, yes, the follow through. Gorgeous. Again, let's look at that one more time. And then we'll get back to questions. Gorgeous. That's gorgeous. That's 2 strikes. Slider needs to be there. We miss out of zone. We do not miss in zone. On 2 strikes, unless the 3-2 count, we miss out of zone. We do not miss in zone. Where do we miss? Out of zone. We might do a film breakdown for tomorrow. That might be the thing we do. Let's get back to questions here. We'll put our media asset back on here. Where is this? Where are we? Anyway, we found it. All right. What would it take for the Yankees to get Buxton from the Twins? Could the Yankees explore and try and get Paredes from the Astros since they have Correa at third now? Okay, so I don't think the Yankees and Astros are going to be making trades. And that's just the Tucker kind of fear in me. Where like they were a team that tried to get Kyle Tucker and they couldn't trade for him. And that like low key kind of scares me. But hey, look, if the Astros are willing to move off of an infielder, I would love Isaac Paredes in this lineup. I do wonder about how the fit would work with the Yankees, but I do think the Astros are just better off keeping Paredes. So I would rule out Paredes as being a trade candidate. And that's kind of my TLDR there because he's a really good fit for that ballpark. And he can play multiple positions in the infield, third and first. He can even play some second base in a pinch, although I don't think they're going to have him play second base. Now for Buxton is a star. And unfortunately, Jeff Passan said it's pretty unlikely he gets traded. Not impossible, just unlikely. If he were to get traded, that guy'd be an incredible fit for the Yankees. Unbelievable hitter, great power, great defense, great speed, great athleticism. I really like this guy as a pretty excellent, as a really excellent defensive option and a really excellent offensive option as well. So big fan of what he can provide for the Yankees. Yeah, dude, I love Imai. That dude's a rock star, I think. He's a rock star in the making. But we're going to start wrapping things up here. So send in your final questions here on the Fireside Yankees live stream. I do have to cut things a little bit early. I know we started a little bit late. We'll keep the streams rolling for the rest of the weekdays leading up until Friday. We might do an afternoon stream Friday. That might be what we do in order to compensate for the fact that I'm not around that night. But we're going to try and go live as many times as possible this week. So shoot in your final questions. Why have the Yankees not looked at Bregman as a big position of need for us? A couple of things. Number 1, age, injury risk. And number 2, and I think the more important one, ballpark fit. Bregman, not a great fit for Yankee Stadium. The swing is very much pulled fly balls to left field as a right-handed hitter. Not sure that's a profile that'll work at Yankee Stadium because he doesn't hit the ball incredibly hard. So, yeah. Then we've got, how would you rank Imai, Yamamoto, Sasaki, Managa, Senga, Otani, and Kikuchi as Japanese pitching prospects? Number 1, Yamamoto. Number 2, Otani. Number 3, Sasaki's tough. Sasaki in 22, I'd rank number 2 or number 1. Sasaki right now, I'd put Imai over current day Sasaki. Better command. More reliant, can hold the velo better, less injury risk. So I put Imai 3, Sasaki 4. It's tough. This is tough. Senga was more talented than Kikuchi and Imanaga by just having the Ghost Fork, so I'm going to put him next. And I'm going to say Imanaga and Kikuchi because Imanaga had the outlier four-seam fastball. So, yeah, I think that's my ranking. And it's not and remember, Kikuchi came over. He couldn't hold up the velocity either. IKF was a while back. My bad. And I can take a deep breath. Me too. Thank you, Bianca. I really appreciate that. Hey, man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. All love. I do what I can. When does Hot Stove start? Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday. Who do you think the Yankees go for if they don't get Imai? Outfield, bullpen. I don't think they go out and pursue a top-of-the-market starter after that. I pray for this. And I pray for this. I pray for this. I really do. Maybe I'm just really negative on Cole at this point, which I am, but let's say we get Imai. Am I crazy for saying he's our fifth best starter? I think he's better than Rodon. I think it's Fried, Imai, Schlittler. It feels weird putting Schlittler above Cole, doesn't it? But like post TJ, I'd say Fried, Imai, Cole, Schlittler, Rodon. In respect to Cole. Is that fair? Yeah, it's fair. But I would have Rodon like behind Cole. I think Rodon's a little more scary post-injury than Cole. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point, too. You can't really say. Enjoy all the content. Keep it going, brother. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, dog. Thank you. Why not King if not Imai? Qualifying offer, maybe not. I don't think the Yankees want to pay that kind of money for a starter. I could be wrong. Maybe if he gets like 2 years, maybe the Yankees are interested in it. But do I want the Yankees to go out and get a do I want the Yankees to go out and do I think the Yankees want to go out and pay top of the market money for that? I don't think so. Jacob Young for fourth outfielder. I'd be in on that. I mean, he's a really good defender, but like that's if we get. I'd prefer my fourth outfielder to be able to play, but I mean, he doesn't really have to do that, right? Yeah, I don't know. No, I think they could just have Young be the fourth outfielder. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah. Sandy Alcantara for heel or other prospect. I think it's going to take more. Peralta's the stopgap starter. I'd love Peralta. I just don't think he's going to get traded. So, alrighty, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here on Fireside Yankees. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your night. Peace out, everybody.